touch all your seatbelts, touch all your connections, touch your Hans. Just make sure you get everything like you want it.
Well, howdy there, race fans. I know it's a little bit later than normal, but here we are racing tonight, the USA Trucks Eastern Division here at Mid-Ohio. And there's nothing mid about this lineup here tonight. As you see on the front row, it's Jordan Walker and his teammate, Alan Malcolm. Behind that, you've got Chaz Chadwick, who's also had a strong start to the season, with fellow return E, Tom Cording, joining the field here today. Our other winning driver, James Gunner. So all three of our top winning drivers starting nose to tail at the front of the field with Skylar Taylor there. Ant Me Person, Bradley Ream, Guido Piano, Drew Clue, Ace Vaden and Andre Stefan, Al Bunch, Ace Blake, Gannon Bird, Scott Speed, Jeffrey Gerald, Andrew Moger, David Bird, Ralph Oberstadt, Zach Armstrong and Jack Ross, Johnny Blaney, Wyatt Wilkinson, AJ Kosnoff, Jakov Rosovich, as we skim through the back end of the field here. Craig Bush there, Asil Escobar, and then at the very back, Finlay Herwig and Chris Mozzie. 37 laps here for a grand total of 82 miles around Mid-Ohio. It's going to be interesting to see what Tom Cording can do returning to the series that actually he was on the West Coast last year and came home with the West Coast Championship and then the combined championship for this USA Trucks series. And so trying to put his stamp on this series on the East Coast. So they go roaring into turn one here. Looks like Jordan Walker with the early advantage, but don't count Alan Malcolm out. This long straightaway is going to give some people the advantage and take it away from others. Look at that. Alan Malcolm comes out with the lead here. Pair of Trevor Ventures trucks running at the front of the field. We've seen that all year, whether it's on the East Coast or the West Coast. But these two are putting up a solid fight for the lead. Jordan Walker is not going anywhere here, as now he's got the inside line and the preferred advantage. And it teeter-totters very much on every segment of this track, as Jordan Walker might have outlasted him. Give the position to Jordan Walker. Alan Malcolm has to settle into second here. Now do remember, there are no cautions in Sigma road course racing. So if we have anyone that makes a mistake here, spins out, the only way we would get a caution is if that truck somehow flipped, because how else would you explain not throwing a caution for that? And well, after hours, and here we are already crashing, so give me a minute and we'll get reset here. So don't go anywhere, stay in the stream. I will stop.
Favor, touch all your seatbelt connections.
Gentlemen,
Favor, touch all your seatbelts, touch all your connections, touch your Hans. Just make sure you get everything like you want it.
Well, things got shaken up a little bit here on the requalifying. It's now Chaz Chadwick in front of Jordan Walker. Alan Malcolm still starts in about the same spot. Tom Cording in the same spot. So we'll try this again. This time I have better cautions disabled. Since we have cautions disabled, there's no reason to have double file restarts at a road course. So noticeably different restart here as you see Chaz Chadwick storming away from Alan Malcolm. Alan Malcolm coming on the long stretch here might actually have a chance to get caught back up with that 18. Yet again, we still have a very solid battle with the lead two. Ooh, and Alan Malcolm has the advantage on Chadwick at the moment. As you've got Tom Cording in third. I reset the stream, everything works, the ticker's up and rolling, so we should be in it for the long haul now. Chadwick still fighting tooth and nail with Alan Malcolm here. Malcolm, ooh, same thing as we saw in the last rendition here. But Malcolm might be able to fight back on the second half of the track here. He hasn't fallen back in line nearly as quickly as he did. So we were able to get right about here last time when it crashed. Hopefully we can make it to the start-finish line and get one lap under our belts here today at Mid-Ohio. So now, as they are singling in for single file runs, it looks like Chaz Chadwick, Alan Malcolm, Tom Cording, Jordan Walker, the 59, that would be Gannon Bird running in fifth, along with James Gunner, Andrew Moger, Jeffrey Gerald, Bradley Ream, and Ant Meperson rounding out your top 10. Then in 11th, it's Skylar Taylor. 12th, it's Guido Piano. Pardon me. Guido Piano, Ace Blake, and Al Bunch. The entire TRD stable running nose to tail there from 12th, 13th, and 14th. Got Ace Vaden in 16th. Wyatt Wilkinson running 19th. And Osiel Escobar goes way wide there into the grass, and he's currently setting dead last on field. 37 laps here at Mid-Ohio. We will likely see at least one round of pit stops here. As Chaz Chadwick leads the way so far. Let's look and see who's had fastest lap. Fastest lap does belong to Chaz Chadwick. Second fastest, Alan Malcolm right there behind him. And then third fastest, Tom Cording. Ooh, Alan sticking his nose out there, trying to possibly break the draft with the 18, or just kind of letting him know, hey, I'm here. I can make a move if I want to. Our top 3 drivers still all amongst the top 5 here today. Just goes to show you how stout these guys are. Week in, week out, doesn't matter. They are not letting off the throttle one bit. Chaz Chadwick with 2 wins. Jordan Walker with 3. And James Gunner with 2. I could be mistaken. I think he's up to 3 as well, as we've only seen 3 different winners in this USA Trucks Eastern Division. And that too starts to make things interesting, as we'll be looking towards the East-West Championship combo at the end of the year. Oh, that's right. It was Al Bunch with 1 win. So 3, 2, 2, and 1. That gives us 8 of the, well, now tonight's race, number 9. And as there's only going to be about 6 more opportunities for drivers to get a win, and there's 4 different winners. Realistically, if we get, a different winner tonight, there could be a different winner each week that could potentially qualify their way into the East-West Championship. But if we get someone like Chaz Chadwick that wins again here tonight, or a Jordan Walker, a James Gunner, or even an Al Bunch, if he can find his way up there, that means it definitely one person's going to make it in on points for the East-West the combination championship at the end of the year. We finally, on the West Coast, saw someone put a stop to the Trevors dominating. Each of them with 4 wins apiece. Go ahead and throw the 15 of Noah Hobson in there as a Truck West winner. And they're pretty much in the same boat on the West Coast. If you get any more repeat winners for the rest of the regular season here, there's going to be some guys making it in on points for the championship. It's been looking like the regular season championship could go to both the Walker brothers, as Jordan Walker currently leads here on the East Coast. Trevor Walker leads on the West Coast, but by slim margins. He's only got 7-point lead over his teammate, Trevor Vaden. And so that battle very much still up in the air. This East Coast, however, Jordan Walker's got a full race lead on Chaz Chadwick. 64 points to be specific. So short of having tremendously bad races, Jordan Walker kind of walking away with the regular season championship here, which is huge because that regular season championship will give you 15 points towards the playoffs, the chase, the combined championship at the end of the year. And I'm going to try to get that finalized within the next week or two. We will have our official USA Trucks Championship schedule put together. We've only known our regular season schedule so far, and they're going to open up their chase at Ricky Super Speedway, which has been home to some very, very close, very exciting finishes, and also home to some very tremendous wrecks that you'll never forget. So Ricky Raceway will be the chase opener for these USA trucks. And that still leaves us with about 9 races without a track to be contested on. The goal will be to try and make it international, as your East schedule consists of all the tracks on the East Coast. Your West, trucks consist of a schedule on the West Coast. So the East-West chase is going to be an international circuit. I wouldn't count out going to somewhere like Twin Rings, Motegi. I think that would be exciting. It'd be fun to see these guys race in Japan. There's a mechanical failure here on the 59 of Gannon Bird here on lap 7. Suffered a flat tire. 59's going to have to coast it around with that flat tire here. Hopefully he doesn't bring out a caution. Well, I take that back. He won't bring out a caution unless he gets flipped up on his roof. Hopefully he can make it back to pit road and not cause any commotion here, as he's cruising through the grass, losing spots left and right. So what looked like a good day for the 59 has went south here on lap 7. He's still going to have to find an opening to get on the inside of the track here so he can get on pit road. And they're not going to stop for him. He's just going to have to, whoa, and he gets run into by the 78 of John Brinker there. Man, that's a bummer. The 59 has shown some promise these last couple weeks. Gannon Bird finally got that win in Bridge to Cup action, and has continued to struggle here in the trucks. Has worked his way up into the top 10 in the points with some solid runs as of late. He's had a 4th, an 8th, a 7th, a 4th, a 4th. But it looks like today he's going to finish outside the top 30, most likely. That'll drop him a little bit further in the points tally. Chaz Chadwick knows that today he can try to start taking bites out of that points lead that Jordan Walker has. 64-point lead for Jordan Walker. If Chaz Chadwick wants even a chance to win the regular season, he's going to have to win, and win by large portions over that 10 truck. It's impressive to see the return of Tom Cording here in the number 50 truck. Last time we saw him, he was actually in the number 90, and it was also a Ford back then when he won the championship on the West Coast, and then the combined championship, the overall championship at the end of the season. So he's pretty much a championship away from being dossed out of the truck championship altogether. As the rule states, you can have 2.5 championships. That half counts as your regular season. So a regular season championship only counts as half. Tom Cording currently sits at 1.5, as he won an overall and a regular season. So if he wins another regular season, which ain't going to happen because he's already missed 9 races here. So regular season is out of the question. However, if he's able to get a win and make it into the top 30 in points, he will be eligible to fight for the overall championship later in the season. So that carrot dangles out there in front of him. Most likely one of the reasons why you see him running in third right here. I think the question that the whole Sigmaverse has been dying to know the answer to is the battle of the brothers. And I'm not just meaning the Walker brothers, which two of those pair up, or the Courting brothers, which two of those pair up, but rather the Courting brothers versus the Walker brothers. I think, as you see right now, Tom Courting sits in front of Jordan Walker. Next week, we're going to see Tim Courting on the West Coast, duking it out against Trevor Walker. And starting to establish the dominance of which which family ties are the hardest racer in the series. It's so neat that we've got a pair of brothers that are so dominant in their very own, and now putting them all out there on the track together, it's just going to be a spectacle to behold. And I think it's going kind of as expected, because as you can see, third and fourth here tonight, I would not expect anything different next week with the West Coast when we hit the racetrack for that race. We're roughly 1/3 of the way through the race here tonight. Don't forget, after this we will have a doubleheader of sorts. The Bridge to Cup action will be racing at Lakewood, and we're still very eager to see if someone's going to take a swim at Lakewood. Hence the name of the race being Take a Swim 100. 100 laps at the 1 mile track. We've seen these trucks race there. Actually, Jack Ross, we've seen him win. Mid-Ohio, it's one of his home tracks here today, and Jack Ross in the field in this race here. We'll see where he is in the running. At least he's upwards of the top 30. Looks like he might be upwards of the top 20. His brother from another mother, Jakov Rosovich, currently running 22nd. Jack Ross in 17th. So not too bad for the home track. Racing in the Subaru Baja. Then you've got TRD, Atlee Weiss's team of Al Bunch, Ace Blake, and Guido Piano running 11th, 12th, and 13th. Really does seem like they have put a little bit more emphasis on their road course program, as you see all three of them running very competitively in about the same zip code there. Of course, you got to imagine pit strategy will become a factor here tonight. Your top 5 has remained pretty much unchanged here, apart from the absence now of Gannon Bird, who had a flat tire that forced him to fall all the way to the back. If he was able to get gas and everything, he might be able to stay out the rest of the way. We'll have to see how strategies fall here, and if Gannon Bird can actually make something of his day still, even though he had an unfortunate, untimely flat tire. This battle at the front, Alan Malcolm is not letting Chadwick get away. We did have one mechanical failure, blown engine on David Bird, so he's going to finish dead last here today. New fast lap belongs to Alan Malcolm here in the 9 truck, as he turned a 131.2. That tops the leader of Chaz Chadwick, who had a 131.3. So I really do imagine that the pit strategy here today is going to be the great determining factor in the overall win. Chadwick seems to have the advantage right now, but that 9 truck definitely a little bit faster, and with the right strategy could hopscotch over the 18 truck. Currently it's Honda, Toyota, Volkswagen, Toyota, and Dodge at your top 5. No Ford, no Chevy, no Subaru representation amongst the top 5. For the most part, not even in the top 10. As you go further, it's Volkswagen, Honda, Dodge, and the lone Subaru running in 10th there, Skylar Taylor. So we do have a Subaru in the top 10. Those Bajas, they're not the fastest thing out there, but they are definitely reliable and still find a way to get the job done. But this has definitely been a series that's been built on by Dodge and Toyota. And now sprinkle in Honda and Volkswagen, as they too have some good bullets in the chamber. This is Volkswagen's first year, and most people wouldn't associate Volkswagen with a truck, but they do make the Amarok, and seems like first season not struggling too much on resources. We've seen Brian DeBlanc do solid job in the Volkswagen. He currently sits amongst the top 5 in points on the West Coast. The East Coast hasn't had quite the rep that they desired at first, especially when Tim and Tom Cording got ousted before the season even started. But now that they're back, the Volkswagen numbers have increased just a little bit, and in a good manner. As you see that 50 truck, this is the first start of the season for that team, and they're already up front here contesting for wins. But kind of a standard road course fare here tonight, as there's not a whole lot of passing, and therefore not a whole lot to talk about. So I'm just trying to keep the empty air open with friendly banter on what's going on. The silly season has been upon us here for the past couple weeks, and to keep it short and simple, there's definitely a lot of changes on the horizon to be expected for this Sigma Racing Series. Trucks, for one, are going to be probably the only thing that doesn't change a whole lot going into 2025. We've kind of established our standard roster, to say. Now, there could still be opportunities for people to get graduated up the ladder, but trucks is still one of those series that we're not going to permanently kick someone out. What I have been considering, even likes of Tom Cording there, where we have a rule that you can only win 2.5 championships on the truck circuit, and then you have to graduate out. Well, maybe we can make it so that it's like you have to relinquish your points that you gain. You could still race. I mean, like a Kyle Larson, for example, who still goes out and races Xfinity, heck, IndyCar, but just say that you're not going to be competing full time, or if you are going to try to attempt every race, you're not going to be eligible for the championship. Now, the only red flag that raises is what if they go out there and win every race, dominate, and they don't have a championship to show for? The guy that ends up winning the championship was the guy that finished second every race. So perhaps we'll just stick with the, if you get 2.5 championships, you're somewhat retired. You've done more than what most people can do in the truck series to begin with. So I'm just talking circles right now, but it's definitely something that we can ponder on going forward. Obviously, we don't have any candidates right now that have that fit that mold. And I would only implement that for, let's say, the truck series. Since the truck series is supposed to be kind of an A to the BC ladder, and if we have someone that just keeps holding up the ladder by winning it every season, what good does that do for the series? Now, you can go out there and win as many cup championships as you'd like. There's no retiring from that. That is the top of the cream of the crop, the top tier of them all. But it's also that much harder to get that championship, as you can ask many of the Sylvania Cup stars how hard it is to earn the overall championship at the end of the year. So it'll be interesting to see what some of these guys do moving through the ranks. We've already seen Chaz Chadwick get graduated up into the Cup Series, but this truck championship ever so elusive to him. Alan Malcolm is an interesting case, as not many teams have shown interest to pick him up for next year. Yet he continues to run solidly and put on a good show. Some of the teams might want to start looking towards getting a talent like that to their series. Alrighty, green flag pit stops here on lap 20. So right about in the middle, they cut it halfway here. These guys coming down first might be taking the undercut method as Chadwick and Malcolm continue to stay out. Undercut from Jordan Walker, Tom Cording, and James Gunner here. These guys may be looking to hopscotch the lead. Tin looks like they stayed a little bit longer here. He drops a couple spots as James Gunner gets by, as well as Tom Cording. It's going to be interesting to see if this pays off or not. So many times in the last couple of weeks with all the road course racing that we have seen, the undercut seems to be the key to victory. As you can get in, get on fresher tires quicker, your outlap may take a little while to get up to speed, but you have one extra lap on the competition that you're putting faster laps down before they can. And so you kind of sprinkle in lap traffic and other shenanigans that might transpire. For whatever reason, the undercut seems to make it so that they can get past the leader. Now, I don't know if it's just that extra lap of slow speed, slow pace, that they start to lose so much time that it's just a detriment to the overall running of things. But we'll see here. These guys waited one lap longer. They're going to rejoin the track with a warm-up lap, basically. And there's Tom Cording. Tom Cording's already up to speed. He ain't going to have to wait to get the tires all green. Passing is king. If Tom can get by him on their warm-up lap on fresh tires, he might be able to check out and drive away. But it's going to have to happen this lap or not at all. It's nice, though, that they all rejoin in about the same part of the track. So far, the advantage does not seem to be there for the undercut strategy, but just give it time. That 50 looking a little bit quicker. Here he's going to have an opportunity to make a pass on the 9. And right about now, as you're halfway through your warm-up lap, that's about all the advantage that the undercut's going to have. So Tom Cording did not get to execute here, as it looks like he's going to have to let these guys start to get rolling here in front of him. And now they are going to have the fresher rubbers that's going to allow them to put faster laps down than what the 50's got. Still a valiant effort. The huge change here was Jordan Walker getting shuffled back to 5th. And Chaz Chadwick really putting on a masterclass race here today. He was able to pit from the lead and still maintain that lead. He has not failed to lead a lap yet. He's led every single lap here today at Mid-Ohio. Fast lap still belongs to Alan Malcolm, as they've finally made a full couple laps here, and those tires are going to be up to full pace here. Now we'll see if perhaps the fast laps change here coming across start-finish line. Chadwick with a 1:32.0. Alan Malcolm with a 1:31.7. Tom Cording with a 1:32.0. It's really 5 trucks here, all within a shot of making something happen. Might need a little bit of luck if you're Jordan Walker there in 5th. Heck, even Andrew Moger could still sneak up into a top 5 finishing order here if someone makes a mistake. Still no other retirements here yet. The 59 has been able to stay out and has gained 10 spots because he had to pit so early. I'm not sure if he's going to be able to make to the finish without another pit stop though. So the 59 might not be able to make to the finish here, but at least as he runs right now, he was able to gain 10 spots from the misfortunes earlier in the race here today. Chaz Chadwick putting on a clinic of a race here tonight. That 18 truck has not put a wheel wrong yet. Just goes to show you, if you know how to get this road course racing done, often it's hard to beat someone who's got it figured out. I do like what I'm seeing here from Alan Malcolm in the 9, as he keeps that 18 honest. If Chadwick were to make a mistake here, that 9 would be able to pounce immediately. So Chadwick pretty much just has to put down the perfect race here today. Sometimes it's a lot harder to do than it looks. Not very often that you see a driver lead every lap and win a race. And Alan Malcolm definitely keeping that 18 truck on his toes. If we continue to look, lap times, 1:31.261 for Chadwick, but Alan Malcolm just turned his fastest lap, a 1:31.216. And that's still the fastest lap on track here. That number 9 truck, just a hair faster than the 18. 18 second fastest with his fast time. These two are actually starting to check out on 3rd place. Tom Cording, as you see, they're starting to stretch it out a little bit and putting Tom Cording further away in their back view mirror. We're down to 10 laps to go here today. But don't worry, We do have a second race here going tonight, right after this one. Well, now Chadwick's starting to stretch it out here on the 9 truck, looks like. As Chadwick maintaining fast laps. Alan Malcolm still maintaining fast laps, but just losing a little bit each lap to the 18 truck. Look, 131.3 to a 131.3 and a half. As we're down to just 8 laps to go here tonight. Well, if we go ahead and look at the point standings as they were running right now, Chadwick would be able to gain quite a few points on Jordan Walker. Jordan Walker, who's finished 5th before, got 40 points. If you compare that up to a race of max points with led most laps and the win from the pole, 55 points, so he would be able to make up about 54 points, or 14 points out of the 64 You'd be looking at about a 50-point lead for Jordan Walker over Chaz Chadwick. James Gunner sits in third. He's going to continue to hold third. Ant Meeperson in fourth. Jeffrey Gerald fifth. Alan Malcolm sixth. Alan Malcolm's going to jump up to fifth, I believe. Ant Meeperson could potentially still hold fourth overall. Gannon Bird's going to drop a little bit. And honestly, yeah, if you're not a winner, it's going to be harder to get into the mix here. As Al Bunch is 14th, that would pretty much put us back to 9th. So, Ant Meeperson, Jeffrey Gerald, Alan Malcolm, Gannon Bird, Bradley Ream, and Skylar Taylor could be the ones locked in to the East-West Championship battle. But of course, still a lot of racing. This is only race 9 of 15 in the USA Trucks regular season. Put that into perspective, that means we've ran 17 races between the East and the West. Actually 18, because the next race will be number 10 on the West Coast. And even tonight, the Bridge to Cup Series will be race number 17 or 18, I believe. So, yeah, we've put in 38 races between the two series. 36. Not to mention we've had 10 ARC races so far. And 14 Cup races to boot. So 2024 has been one for the record books. Never in our racing history have we had this many races. Period. Used to just be my Cup Series from 2010 up to 2021. 2022 is when I conceived the Trucks and Bridge to Cup as it is now. And then this year, 2024, came the full iteration of the ARCA series. And it couldn't be done without the help of a community like we've built. So thank you, everyone. Thank you for those of you that are watching right now. Though, I mean, you don't realize how that keeps my fire burning to keep this series alive. Got a community of people that help paint, that help follow, overall promote, and just get excited every time we hit the track here. And not every race is going to be a barn burner brawl to the finish. Sometimes you're going to have these races where it's just follow the leader all night. And with that, it kind of comes its own strategy, its own excitement. You know, Chadwick, obviously, we haven't seen him dominate a race like this in a long time, so it takes, you know, a certain something to get the job done like this. And you never know, that you could still get a mechanical failure from the lead. We've seen it happen. It doesn't happen a whole lot, but Chaz Chadwick definitely not out of the woods here, even though he's leading the race with just under 5 laps to go. Alan Malcolm keeping him honest, running right there on his back bumper. The parity, definitely something to be applauded here. as you've got a Honda leading a Toyota, leading a Volkswagen, leading a Dodge. So 4 very different manufacturers, proving why they are the best here in the USA Trucks. And even then, a top 5 battle that may not have been for the record books, but you can still see all 5 trucks within the same straightaway here. Meaning, if one truck were to have a problem, they could pick up a spot, maybe 2, with, mechanical failures that could rear their ugly heads. Chadwick's about a half second slower than Alan Malcolm right now. Seems like on this long run, the 9 truck might just be a little bit better. So we got to still keep our eyes peeled and make sure that there may not be a battle brewing between these two. We'll skim back through the lineup and see if the 59 had to make another pit stop yet. Doesn't look like Gannonbird had to, so he's still out there running 32nd. Could potentially make it to the finish here. We'll see. There's only about half a second separating Chaz Chadwick from Alan Malcolm here. Lap times actually kind of plateaued there for the both of them, as the 9 of Alan Malcolm was not able to make up any time on the 18. We just have 3 laps remaining now. And this race is going to be really close to the 1 hour mark in total. Actually, it's going to be a little bit short of an hour, which will be perfect, giving us plenty of time to get this double header in tonight without any trouble. It might be midnight on the East Coast, but it's 9:45 here for me on the West Coast. And I'm still roaring and ready to get maybe even a triple header out of the way if I had to tonight. Well, it's going to be do or die for this number 9 truck. If he wants to get the job done, he's going to have to figure out a way. Get around this 18. Going to have to get around him quickly here. Not even looking like lap traffic will be a factor here tonight, as they're way too far out there to even be considered. Chaz Chadwick has led every lap so far up to this point. 36 of the 37 laps contested. Held the lead even during green flag pit stops where everyone pitted. He took the overcut and led all the way up to his pit stop. Came out, rejoined the track, still held the lead. We saw the undercut. It did not prevail for the likes of Tom Cording and James Gunner. So as they come through a few more turns here, this next lap will be the white flag. And Chaz Chadwick just has to keep holding that wheel steady and not make any mistakes from the lead here. That Honda Ridgeline has 2 wins so far this season, and he would love to get another one tallied up here. But he's going to have to hold off Alan Malcolm here. who actually was 1/10 faster that time. He's still half a second off the lead here. Gonna need a Hail Mary. A miracle to happen if he wants to get by the 18 of Chadwick. 2.2 miles left of racing here at Mid-Ohio, just now under 2 miles as they get through the first set of corners there. Chadwick doing his best to keep the lead here. Alan Malcolm with one last shot at trying to get the job done here tonight. Tom Cording in third, James Gunner fourth, Jordan Walker fifth. Good thing for Chadwick with Jordan Walker in fifth. He's going to be able to make up as many points as he possibly can, even with a good day out of that 10 truck. Shouldn't be any reason for anyone to run out of fuel, as these two at the front waited longer to make their pit stop. So if anything, it should be the folks behind them. Coming around the last corner here at Mid-Ohio, it's going to be Chaz Chadwick roaring to race victory number 3 here in 2024. Alan Malcolm with a solid second place finish. Tom Cording on the return, coming home third. James Gunner, Jordan Walker. Then you got Andrew Moger, Jeffrey Gerald, Bradley Ream, Aunt Me Person, and Skylar Taylor as she brings it home in the top 10. 11th is Guido Piano, 12th Al Bunch, 13th Scott Speed, 14th Zach Armstrong, 15th Andre Stefan. Ace Blake gets shuffled out here. I wonder if he had a mix-up with someone. You see the right-hand side of that truck a little bit roughed up. We'll try to see where that damage comes from. Here he's fighting with his teammate, the 19 of Guido Piano. And that's for 11th place right there. Didn't really have much drama all race, but I think we're going to see a little bit of drama here, maybe amongst teammates that we missed during, oh wait, the 45 of Skylar Taylor. She gets side by side with Ace Blake. Does she run Ace Blake off track here perhaps? There's got to be, whoa. So there might be a little beef after the mix here. Skylar Taylor, man, I don't see where there was any contact. As you see here, we'll try to find a different camera angle. Oh yeah, there's definitely contact. The 45 of Skylar Taylor clips Ace Blake there. And he loses a few spots in the melee. So unfortunately, Ace Blake was looking like he could have been fighting for a top 10, but instead gets dusted up there by the 45 of Taylor. Bang. Just a very light tap. There ain't much there. That would have been the difference between a top 10 and a top 20 for Ace Blake, unfortunately, coming on lap 23 there, as he actually comes home in 16th. So congrats to Chaz Chadwick, as that's going to help him a little bit on his venture to trying to take Jordan Walker down here in the USA Trucks Eastern Division. Looks like some trucks running out of gas on the final lap here, as you see some of them coasting around the last half of the track. And thank you for everyone tuning in. Another race in the books here on the East Coast. And yet another repeat winner. So we're going to start seeing drivers make their way into the chase on points for the W chase. Or the WE chase. The WE. 9, perfect. Chadwick ekes out a win at Mid-Ohio. So that is a wrap, at least for the first half of our doubleheader here tonight. I'll get the next one started here shortly and send out a ping to the main server. So not totally done for tonight, but we'll see on the next one, folks. This is me signing out from this one.